What's up, guys? Sauceman mate. UFC 324 just wrapped up yesterday. Overall, surprisingly underwhelming. I didn't want to say that, but this card was. I expect it to be, the crazy moments left and right, but this card was actually surprisingly underwhelming. But That's not saying there still weren't good moments with this card. The main event, one of the best fights I've ever seen. The whole card overall wasn't terrible. But I'm going to talk about the main event, main card in just a second. But first, we're going to talk about the prelims and early prelims. Ty Miller versus Adam Fuggett. Adam Fuggett took really good shots from Tyler for a majority of the fight. But eventually his chin just gave out and Tyler knocked him out. Never seen these guys fight before, but I'm excited for Tyler's future. He seems like a pretty good contender, and I thought he looked pretty good in this fight. So I'm excited to see him in the future. As for Denzel Freeman, oh my gosh. Dude, this Denzel Freeman versus Josh Hockett, one of the most disrespectful just performances, one of the worst fights thing I've ever had the I've ever been cursed of watching in my life. It was insane because Denzel Freeman, I wasn't really too high on him because the last fight I saw him was he was on the Armand versus Dan Hooker card. He did pretty okay against some other heavyweight blobber, but against Josh Hockett, I thought he was gonna win. I can't believe my dumbass actually picked him because he looked absolutely terrible in this fight. He gassed out so fast. Josh Hockett bullied him, started riding him like a horse and spanked him. And then the cherry on top of the shit Sunday was when Denzel Freeman walks over to the cage, sits down, and just like, he has this look of just, you could tell he was just done. And then Josh Hockett flips him off and walks away. First TKO by middle finger. One of the most depressing performances I've ever seen. Denzel Freeman might get cut. If I was Dana, I'd say give him one more fight. If he loses again, just cut him at this point. I think Josh Hockett's post-fight interviews are super cringe. I can't even lie. I watch him. I'm just like, I hope someone flatlines him, honestly. He called out Waldo. Waldo would destroy this guy genuinely. And the thing about Josh Hockett's, I don't think he's really that elite. I've seen some MMA YouTubers saying, dude, he could beat Curtis Blades, man. I'd say give him like someone like Walter Walker. Sergey Pavlovich would smoke him. I think he could get there, but he just needs to climb his way up. This fight honestly reminded me why heavyweight's the worst division in the UFC, and there was another heavyweight fight that was an absolute stinker on this card. I'll talk about that later. Now on the prelims, we got Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson, he did all right, but he got hurt so bad in the first couple seconds of the round. And after he got hurt that one time, he never recovered. He was just stumbling around the octagon like he was drunk or something. Then Alex Perez finished him with, it was a left hook that sent him stiff in the ground. It was a bad stuff. It was not a bad stoppage. I'm saying it was brutal. It was a really brutal finish. I think Charles Johnson's done, honestly. I don't see him winning a fight for a long time, honestly. That was a pretty brutal knockout by Alex Perez. Nikita Krylov versus, what the hell is that? Modestas Buskas. I can't pronounce that at all. I didn't watch this fight. I'm going to be brutally honest. I was getting pizza with my friend. We were out getting pizza, and then we came back right in time for Atiba Gautier's fight. And I'm going to talk about this fight right now. I was actually surprised it went to a decision. I honestly thought he was going to smoke Puliev, but Puliev hung in there really good. He got dropped badly in the first, but he really showed that Atiba Gautier has holes in his game. He was rolling with shots, moving away. His chin held up really good, and they're both big guys for the division too. There were some weird moments where Gautier would drop Puliev and just wouldn't do anything though. I was a little confused by that because Gautier dropped him, and then this didn't. If I were him, I would have jumped on him and tried going for a submission, but he didn't. He just kind of stood there and then just watched him drop. And he also slowed down a lot after round one. Atiba Gautier, because he usually gets first round finishes, but after the first round, he slowed down quite a lot, and I really think that he can improve. I think this is good for him, honestly, because he can improve his game. Like, he can rewatch his fight against Puliev and see what he has to fix and what he has already good. But yeah, Atiba Gautier won by decision. I'm excited to see where he goes in the middleweight division. Hopefully he gets ranked soon. Then Umar versus Figgy, the last prelim fight. Umar looks pretty good. He typical Umar performance. He just takes you down and just tries to ground and pound you with elbows. People were saying this fight was super boring. I didn't think it was that terrible. It wasn't amazing, but it was good enough. I wasn't too bored watching this fight. I think Figgy's done though. I've said that with a bunch of fighters so far, but Figgy, I think he just has no motivation to win. He was on ground position, just doing nothing, having a close guard against Umar. I don't see this guy recovering in terms of fights at all. Genuinely, he missed weight too. I think he's 38. He's on the older end. I don't see him doing good in his career at all. As for Umar, he might. It's tough because O'Malley wants to fight for the title next, but then Marab also said the UFC promised him a trilogy with Piotr Yan after he recovers. But I wouldn't mind seeing Umar fight for the belt. What the UFC could do is they could do Sean O'Malley versus Umar for like a number one contender fight while Merab fights Petr Yan. I wouldn't be against that. But yeah, Umar looks pretty good. Figgy, he's washed, unfortunately. I hate to see my goat washed like this. I didn't think the prelims were that bad at all, actually. I thought they were actually mostly, even the decision fight with Atiba Gautier, it was pretty entertaining. It was a good scrap back and forth. Yeah, the prelims and early prelims were overall, I thought they were pretty good. Now it's time to talk about the main card. Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva was actually a way more competitive fight than I thought it was going to be. I honestly thought Arnold Allen was going to get knocked out in the first, second round because of the layoff and the injuries he had. But he actually did really good. He actually was able to keep up with John Silva and even win a round. And I see there was a lot of fights in this card that people were saying were robberies, but really close. This is one of those fights I thought was close. Arnold Allen did pretty good. And one of the craziest moments, probably the craziest moment of this whole entire card, was John Silva jumping on Arnold Allen's back. The picture's up on the screen. It was just so crazy to me. Like, he was winning. That's the most Gene Silva thing I've ever seen. Nonetheless, though, Gene Silva looked way better than he did in his fight against Diego Lopez. I liked how his corner, because I understand a bit of Portuguese myself. I was able to hear what his corner was saying. They're basically telling him to be a little composed. They're telling him to just not go nuts and go crazy, which is great because that's what cost him a fight against Diego Lopez. But, Arnold Allen, he did pretty decent. Like, he didn't do terrible against Gene Silva. I mean, Gene Silva, now he's going to be in the top 5 or 5 or 6. So it's going to be interesting to see him. I think he's one fight away from fighting for a title, or the UFC could just be like, screw it, we're going to have him fight for the title now. Pretty good fight overall, though. I thought it was a good scrap. Okay, I can't even lie to you guys about this. I genuinely did not watch Natalia Silva versus Rosa Mayunas. I picked Rose to win because I from what I recall, she was a former champion at one point. But I did not watch this fight at all. But my buddy who was watching it said he was a pretty close fight again, because there was a lot of fights in this card that were close and people call it robberies. But yeah, Natalia Silva won. I didn't watch this fight. I was in the bathroom. But I'm not too ashamed. Women's MMA is really hit or miss, honestly. But yeah, you guys in the comments, let me know how this fight went, because I didn't watch a single minute of it. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Let's talk about Derek Lewis. I wish there was a face cam on right now so you guys could see my face, because this legitimately was one of the worst fights I've ever seen, one of the worst finishes I've ever seen. Like, you see Waldo by TK, you're like, oh my gosh, must have been a crazy knockout. I kid you not, Derek Lewis, he pulled guard, but he didn't even pull a guard, right? He just laid in his back and just started jiggling there, and Waldo jumped on him and finished him. Legitimately, like, oh... I mean, this is pretty normal for Derek Lewis. He's quit before, like in the Tuivasa fight. It was pretty obvious he quit then. I thought Derek made me look stupid because I picked Derek Lewis to win. This is what pissed me off about Derek Lewis. He's so inconsistent. He might have thrown the fight genuinely, because Derek Lewis is one of those fighters where he's the most fluky guy. Like, watch his next fight. He's going to freaking destroy the guy in 5 seconds with a knockout. But yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta, I think he's ready for the top guys. I want to see him. He did call out Curtis Blades after. I wouldn't mind seeing that. He's been on a crazy run, really, like knocking out Shamil Gaziev, knocking out Ante Delija, now Derek Lewis. But yeah, I want to see Waldo fight someone like like Curtis Blades or maybe Volkov or something. That'd be pretty nice to see. And for Derek Lewis, I actually want to do a video on fights to make next after UFC 324. So I'm going to try and get that out this week. But Derek looked terrible. He looked horrible. He landed 8 significant strikes in this fight. Again, the heavyweight's such a bad division. This fight just reminded me of why heavyweight is just so bad. He laid in his back and quit while Waldo jumped on him. Like, he literally turned into prime Anthony Smith. I was watching this fight. I'm like, all you need to do is grab the 2-on-1 grip. He would have been prime Anthony Smith. I never thought I would see Derek Lewis start Anthony Smith maxing. That is so just hilarious. This fight was terrible. The finishing was awful. Derek Lewis has negative heart, literally. This guy just does not care about anything. Really goofy fight, honestly. This was just ridiculous. I can't even lie. You've got another super controversial fight here. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Before I start talking about this fight, I just want to say I was so happy to see O'Malley win. As a Sean O'Malley glazer, he hadn't won a fight in 2 years. And seeing him beat Song Yadong and seeing him get all hyped after like the Sugar Show is finally back, he's probably going to fight for the title, but I'll talk about that in another video. All the freaking casuals saying this was a robbery. It was not a robbery. O'Malley clearly won. My buddy who was watching it was his first UFC fight. He was like, dude, I don't know, man. Song clearly won that. No, what fight were you watching? Genuinely. O'Malley won round 1, and Song was advancing the whole time, but he wasn't landing any damage. Round 2, I thought he won because he had wrestling sequences in there. He was able to hold O'Malley down and get some little sequences in. But O'Malley defended them pretty good. Round 3, I thought O'Malley clearly won. He landed some damage, had Song bleeding a little bit. I don't know why John Anik went, Song's leaking. Like, John Anik, dude, he just says some of the weirdest stuff on commentary, but I'm used to it at this point. But yeah, I thought O'Malley clearly, very clearly won rounds 1 and 3. He lost round 2, but he won that fight. Sean O'Malley won that fight fair and square. It was not a robbery. I don't know what all these people are either they're coping and they're just hating. It's so stupid, genuinely. It is so stupid, all these O'Malley haters. Not even O'Malley haters, just people who just don't know what they're talking about. And this is what happens with Song Yadong every single time he fights a guy in the top 5. He'll fight some elite guy, and then he'll lose, but then he'll fight anyone like below the top 6 and he'll destroy them. I don't know what they're going to do with him next. They might have him fight, I don't know what they're going to do with Song Yadong. Maybe have him fight Figgy or something. O'Malley's probably going to fight for the title. He didn't look amazing. I'm not going to sit here and say, dude, oh my days, a masterclass. Like, O'Malley won the fight. He did win. He didn't look amazing. He basically just fought his way to a decision. I thought he did good. It was all right, you know. I was hoping he'd knock Song out to definitively just like have a hype way to bring Sean O'Malley back, but you know, it is what it is. I thought it was an all right fight. It was all right. Now for the main event, and this is no exaggeration. This might be one of the greatest main events I've ever seen. These two freaking went at it. It was awesome. Patty, I picked him to win, and you guys can see my prediction video. And I'm going to talk about predictions at the end of the video because I did really bad on those. But Patty, dude, his chin held up so good. His mouth is made out of vibranium. I swear, he was taking some bombs from Justin Gaethje, and he wasn't going out in the first round. There's that sequence. Justin walks forward, hits Patty. I'm like, oh shoot, he's gonna finish him. He's gonna finish him. And then he hung in there, and he really did. He did good. There were some sequences like round 3. He had Justin Gaethje rocks pretty good. He was laying some shots of his own. But dude, Justin Gaethje is good, man. Like, and he looked well. This fight in particular, he didn't look too great. I thought he might have had staph because he looked pretty slow, honestly, in some parts. Like Justin Gaethje, he did look kind of off in this fight, even though he won. There were some moments where I'm just like, huh? I'm like, either he's really old and he's really starting to slow down, or it's a staph infection. But yeah, these two were going at it. Patty was, at the end, last 10 seconds, they were throwing so hard, they were falling at each other. It was just crazy. And I guess this is technically a fraud check because I feel like Patty was going to lose when he got to a certain level. Like, when he fought, I heard he wasn't fighting Justin Gaethje. I'm like, Justin Gaethje, like I said in my prediction video, I'm like, Justin Gaethje could win this fight, and he did it. I'm like, if Patty tries to strike, and Patty has some, I can't even be nice about this, he has awful striking defense. He leaves his chin in the air. He's throwing hooks like he's Jamal Hill maxing and stuff like that. I will say Patty definitely earned my respect 100%. Like, he went in there with Justin Gaethje, and he did not go in there to give up. Like, he was really just pushing forward. He's got some serious heart. I think Patty's definitely ready for the top 5. He's definitely ready to fight. You know, I'd say, okay, not someone like Max Holloway or Charles, but still, I'd say he earned his place. You know, Justin Gaethje, not a really bad loss. I can't even lie. He'll definitely bounce back, honestly. Like, this isn't the end of Patty Pimblett. I can actually see Patty becoming an undisputed champion in 3 to 4 years and stuff, because he's only 31. He's young. He has time to improve and stuff. Like, I'd say in his next fight, he needs to improve his striking defense drastically, because his striking defense looked awful in this fight. He threw some weird combinations and stuff. Like, this is a thing that's fun with this fight. I'm watching Justin fight Patty Pimblett. They're fighting tooth and nail. It's like a street beefs fight. And I'm thinking I'm just like, Ilia Topuria is in some cave in Georgia sitting there just fondling with his fingers, just like, yeah, I'm going to go in there and just kill one of these guys. Like, I'm watching this fight. I'm like, dude, this is a great fight. But both these guys would lose to Ilia so bad. And then Justin Gaethje is going to fight him next. All I can say is that Justin Gaethje is I can't even just... Dude, Justin Gaethje might die in there, genuinely. I think Patty would have done worse against Topuria. You saw Patty in this fight, having his chin way up in the air, getting hit by Justin Gaethje. And Justin Gaethje's a good striker. He's accurate and stuff like that. I feel like Patty never faced one like Justin Gaethje's caliber until now. And we see how he fares against this level. But Topuria would destroy both these guys, and also didn't feel like I was watching the two best lightweights fight. When you do an interim title fight, it's usually the number 1 guy or number 2 or 3 guy fighting while the champion's off somewhere else. You told me these guys were unranked. I believe you genuinely, because the technique in this fight was just, this is probably the least technical main event I've ever seen. I'm not complaining, though. It was an amazing fight. I had no issue with the fight. It's just that it should have been a number 1 contender fight. I could have seen it being that. Like, the winner of this gets to fight the winner of Max and Charles or something. But it was just, I'm just sitting here watching this fight. I'm like, they're fighting over who gets slimed out by Ilia Topuria. It's genuinely kind of insane. Like, Justin Gaethje's over here just struggling to fight Patty Pimblett. And then you hear you're fighting Ilia Topuria next. Come on. But yeah, Patty definitely earned my respect. He's got good heart. He's got probably the best chin I think I've ever seen. Like this guy was eating Justin Gaethje hits like Charles Oliveira and Khabib were talking about how Justin Gaethje is the hardest puncher they've ever fought. Patty should have gotten finished at least like 6 times this fight. He hung in there really good. He's got a really good chin. But I'd say, yeah, Patty's game, some of the holes in his game were exposed, like his striking defense and stuff. I'm actually glad this fight happened for Patty because I feel like he's going to come back even better. He's definitely going to improve his striking. He's definitely going to work on his techniques and stuff. So this definitely isn't the end of Patty Pimblett. I just think this was it was bound to happen. These up and coming fighters lose all the time. But I think I'm happy to see Justin Gaethje on top. A very high possibility is Ilia Topuria could just be like, screw it. He could vacate and move up to fight Islam Makhachev for the money fight. And Gaethje could be undisputed champ, which would be kind of insane to me. I can't even lie. But yeah, these two guys put on a great fight. Kind of weird matchmaking, but it is what it is. It's a Paramount era. They're gonna prioritize, honestly, entertainment over actual matchmaking and stuff like that. So it's understandable. So my final thoughts for UFC 324. Overall, not as good as I thought it was gonna be, but it wasn't like a terrible event. I just wish the outcomes were better. Main event was great. Co-main event was all right, I guess. A little boring. Prelims were pretty good. Main card was kind of lackluster with some fights. But, overall, Paramount held up pretty good. I thought the Paramount, because I was watching it on my computer, and it held up pretty good. There wasn't lagging at all. It wasn't like the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight in Netflix where it was freezing every 5 seconds. Like, Paramount held up really good. I am excited for the Paramount era. And it's crazy that as I'm uploading this, it's a Monday, so it's already fight week for UFC 325. I'm going to try and get out another video on UFC 324, like, on fights that should be next or fighters for this video. I'll try and grind that out, and also prediction video for 325 if I can. If I can't, then I apologize in advance because I'll have to go on a Marab type schedule for videos this week. But those are my thoughts on 324. I thought it was a good event. I give it a perfect, I'd say I give it a 7 out of 10, a 7 or 8 out of 10. It was a good event. It was pretty good. Good way to start off the new Paramount deal. Great way to start off the year. And yes, that's pretty much it. Like, subscribe. Have a nice day. And thanks for watching, guys.